All right, we're going to go over our lesson 7 practice problems, which is our first lesson over solving systems of equations and inequalities if you did the bonus lesson. So it's only 8 problems because I know these can take a while to graph. The first 4 are the big ones, and then the bottom 4 I consider bonus content. Okay, so I would rather, if you focus on anything, you focus on these top 4 problems, and if you feel like you've got that down, then go ahead and join me in doing the last 4 over here as well. All right, let's zoom into number 1. So we want to solve the system of equations by graphing, and it says clearly identify your solution. So we know we need to have them in slope-intercept form first, which luckily for us on number 1, it's already in slope-intercept form. So let's go ahead and graph both of these lines. Okay, so I'm gonna let's look at the top one and graph this first. So I'm gonna start at my y-intercept of -1 and make a point. And then my slope is 2 over 3, so that means I'm gonna go up 2 over 1, 2, 3 and make another point. And I highly recommend keep doing that until you can't make any more points. So up 2 over 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do another 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, puts me over here. And then you can tell the line's going to go down this way, and the way you get more points this direction is you reverse your slope completely. So instead of up 2, right 3, go back to your y-intercept, go down 2, left 3, and that will give you another point that's on that line. And it makes sense, right? Because it's in line with all those points. So keep reversing that. Down 2, left 3. Get as many as you can. I've had y'all do that before, but this section, it's really, really important you have all these exact points. Because when you graph the other line and you're looking for where it intersects this line, it'll be really clear to see. Okay, once you have all those points, then go ahead and draw your line through them the best you can. Okay, that wasn't that bad actually. And I know straight lines are hard to draw, but as long as you have these exact coordinates on the line, that's going to help you out a lot. Okay, let's go ahead and graph our second one. And I'm doing different colors. You don't have to do that. It's fine if you're just doing all this in pencil. All right, so then our y-intercept is +4, so I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my first point. And now my slope, there's a negative in front of the x, so the slope is -1. Okay, make sure you can identify that, -1. And if you like to write your slope as a fraction, that's the fraction -1 over 1. If your slope is a whole number, you can always just put it over 1. So the fact that it's negative means I'm going to go down and to the right rather than up and to the right. So I'm going to go down 1, right 1, make a point. Down 1, right 1, make a point. And I keep doing that. Down 1, right 1, make a point. And I can see already where these lines are going to intersect. Down 1, right 1. Keep going with that. I'm going to do these quickly because I can tell where that line's going to go. And then, of course, you could get more points this way by reversing the slope and going up 1 and to the left 1. You just completely reverse it to get points in the other direction. So I'll quickly do that. But we can already see where our solution's going to be. Let me draw my line. And if you see, it's this point right here. So you want to identify that coordinate, and that is going to be the solution to what we call the system. So that would be the coordinate from here. You go over 1, 2, 3. So 3 and then up 1. So that is the coordinate 3, 1. And that would be your answer, your solution. Careful with the order of the 3 and the 1 because y'all are so used to doing rise over run that you try to do that a lot of the time when you plot a point, but points kind of go in the opposite. They don't do rise over run. They go like left and right and then up and down. So I can see how that would be confusing. But remember, you would go to the left first, 1, 2, 3, and then up 1 to get that point, 3, 1. Opposite of rise over run. All right, very good. Let's try number 2. Unfortunately, this one's not in slope-intercept form, so we're going to have to get both equations in slope-intercept form first. So let's deal with the top one here. So x minus y equals 7. So this we've done for a couple lessons now, but I know it can be a little tricky, but you want to get your y variable by itself and move everything else to the other side. Okay, so I could start by taking this x and subtracting it from both sides first. Minus x from both sides. It's going to cancel here. I'll bring down my negative y equals, now this side you could put 7 minus x, but if it's in true slope-intercept form, you'll write the x variable first. So the way I would do that is, since it's minus x, I bring down negative x, and it's a positive 7, so I write plus 7. And then we got one more step. We've got to get rid of the negative with the y, which we've talked about. You can do that by just making it positive, but if you do that, you have to change the sign on everything else on the other side. So this will become a positive, and this will become a minus 7. So x minus 7. That would be our line for the first one up here in slope-intercept form. Let's get the other one in slope-intercept form while we're at it. Okay, I'll do this one in green. So we've got x minus y equals negative 4. Very similar process. We're going to subtract the x from both sides first. Minus x, those will cancel. We're left with negative y equals, on this side we would write negative x minus 4. And then same thing, to get rid of the negative on the y, just get rid of it, but let's change the sign on everything else. So it'd be a positive x plus 4 in the end. All right, we have our two equations, and now we just graph. I'm gonna graph the top one, this one I have in blue. So I'm gonna start at negative 7 on the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, make my point. Now I have a slope of just 1, right? It's like there's a 1 in front of the x. So you can think of that as 1 over 1, right? So from this point, and they're positive, that means I go up 1, right 1, make a point. And keep going with that. Up 1, right 1, make a point. Get as many as you can. I can do this pretty quickly. Slope of 1 is super easy, but also tedious because there's so many points that you can graph. Okay, and then if I want to go this direction, I mean, y'all can see where that line's going to go, but you just reverse it. You go down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1, and keep going. Okay, I'm drawing my line through it. I had a kid earlier say, do I do a dotted line or a solid line? And I could see why he asked that question, because we just did that lesson last week. But y'all, be careful with that. You're just doing regular solid lines on these because we're dealing with just equal signs. The solid or dotted thing, that only happens if you have less than or greater than signs, which you do in the bottom section if you end up choosing to try those ones out, but that is bonus. Okay, let's go ahead and graph the green line now. Y equals x plus 4. So we start at positive 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's the, oh, I should be doing this in green, shouldn't I? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it's got the same slope of 1. So I know I'm going to go up 1 over 1. And I'm going to keep doing that. So the same thing's going to happen on this one. And I can get points in this direction. It's the exact same as the blue line. And maybe you've noticed by now, but those lines do not intersect. Let me draw my line through these. Not totally through it, but that's okay. Okay, so those are my two lines. They don't intersect, and we talked about this in the notes. This is going to be no solution. If you have the same slope, that means they're parallel, and they will never intersect. So let's go ahead. They don't give you a lot of room. We could go up here and say no solution. Good. Okay. Or technically, if you know the symbol for it, you could do like the circle with the line through it. But most likely your teacher will just write out no solution. All right, let's try number 3. Let's go ahead and graph the top one. Now this one is in slope-intercept form, so that's pretty easy. Let's start at our negative 1 y-intercept. So down 1, I make a point. And then we have a slope of 1. So we're going to go up 1, right 1, make a point. Up 1, right 1, just like the one we just did. I'm going to draw my points quickly here. And then to go in the other direction, I can go down 1, left 1, and get more points. But I'm going to do as many as possible because it's honestly, it's really easy to do. Okay, I've drawn my line. Now let's get this one into slope-intercept form, and then we'll graph it. Okay, so if you take a look at it, I could just rewrite it here. X plus 4y equals 16. I want to first subtract the x from both sides, so it's going to cancel. Let me move this over a little bit. So I have 4y equals, this is going to be negative x plus 16. And then we've got to get rid of the 4 that's in front of the y, so we divide everything by 4. And we get y equals, and you just got to be careful simplifying. Remember up here, we pull the x out to the side, which would leave the negative up top and also the invisible 1 that is always in front of your x. So this is going to be written as negative 1 over 4x, and then 16 divided by 4 is just 4. So plus 4. Okay, so there's the equation for our second line. Let's graph it. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, make a point for my y-intercept. And then my slope is negative 1 over 4. Negative 1 means I go down 1, and I go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, and boom. It looks like I probably already have my answer because I can see where they intersect. Let's do some more points. Down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's all I can get that direction. I might as well go up 1 and left 4 to get like one more point over here. Actually, I'll do another one. Up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, left 4. Okay, that's all the points I can get. So I can get a nice and straight line. Sort of. Boom, there it's straight. Okay, but your answer is where they intersect, which is at this point. So find that coordinate from our origin. That would be over 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 and then comma 1, 2, 3. Over 4 and up 3. So the coordinate 4, 3 would be our solution. Very good. Okay. Last one for the regular section here, and then it's all bonus content if you want to try some of those. Now, of course, they make this one the most challenging because neither of them are in slope-intercept form, so we've got to do a little bit of work here first. I guess number 2 was like that as well, but this one just looks a little bit more complicated. All right, let's get that top one in slope-intercept form. I'm going to write it down. Now I know I want to get rid of the x term first, so I subtract 5x from both sides. That's going to cancel. I'm going to bring down my 2y equals, and I would get negative 5x plus 4. And then from there, I would divide everything by 2 because I want to get rid of this 2 right here. And then we just simplify. So we get y equals, now this doesn't simplify much, I would just pull the x out to the side. You want to leave those as improper fractions. Don't turn it into a mixed number, don't write a decimal. And then 4 divided by 2 is just 2. So this is our equation for our first line. So you could go graph it if you want, or I'm probably just going to get this one also into slope-intercept form, and then I'll graph them both. So let's do that. I'm going to write that one down. So I'm going to start this one off by subtracting the 9x from both sides. That's going to cancel. I'm going to bring down my 2y equals negative 9x plus 12. And then we divide everything by 2. So those 2's are going to cancel. I'm going to get y equals, now negative 9 over 2, that doesn't simplify, so I leave it as negative 9 over 2. I pull the x out to the side, and then 12 divided by 2 is positive 6. Okay, I've got both of my equations in slope-intercept form, and I am ready to graph. Let's graph this top one. So we start at positive 2, up 2 right here. And then negative 5 over 2. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and right 2. Make my point. And I'm going to do that again. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right 2. Can't go any further that way, but I'm going to go back to my y-intercept, and I'm going to reverse it to get more points this direction, which you can see the line goes that way. And the way you do that is you go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then left 2. So we can get one more point over there. All right, we've got our points. Let's draw our line. And we are ready for the other one. Let's see, that one's going to start up at positive 6. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we have a slope of negative 9 over 2. Okay, so we're going to count down 9 units and then to the right 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 over 2. Yay, I land right on the line right there. Can we go any more? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not really. You can imagine it would go like 8, 9 over 2. Sometimes I do that, and I kind of plot one off the line just so I have one more point to line up like with my ruler if I'm drawing a straight line. Okay, let's go ahead and connect them. And then I kind of just draw it to there. Okay. And we can clearly see our intersection point right here. My lines aren't perfect, but I can see where that dot is for sure. So if I go to the origin, that would be the coordinate over 2. So 2 and then down 1, 2, 3. So this would be 2, negative 3. Okay, good. So we've got all our solutions, just one weird no solution problem over here. There were no infinite solution problems on this set right here, but you should have covered one like that in the notes. Okay, and if you want to stop there, go for it. If you want to try the bonus content, we're going to do that now. So if you've taken a look at the notes already, then you know how to do these four, and hopefully you are just checking your work or working alongside me if it was too challenging for you. So let's zoom in to number 5 here. Okay, for the inequalities, let's see, let's pick, we'll go with the same little color scheme here. We'll do blue for this top one, and it goes along the same lines as the equations where they need to be in slope-intercept form, which luckily number 5 and number 6 both are. So we're going to have to do just a little bit more work on 7 and 8. Okay, let's go ahead and graph this first one. So we're going to start at our y-intercept of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make a point here. And then negative 2 is my slope, which means I go down 2, right 1. I'm going to keep repeating that. We've done a lot of slope at this point, so hopefully you're getting a little more comfortable with it. And then I can reverse it and go up to left 1 to get more points the opposite direction, or a couple more anyway. Okay, now this is where it changes a little bit. We know since it's an inequality, not an equal sign, we have to decide if we're going to draw a solid or a dotted line, and that is based off of this symbol and whether there's a solid line under it. There is no solid line under it, right? So this is going to be a dotted line. So we will sketch that out the best we can. Okay, now after that, we decide on our shading. And if you shade throughout the problem, some people like to just do the shading in the end. If it's helpful for you, shade throughout the problem as you go, but do it very lightly because you'll probably have to erase some shaded area in the end. All right, so hopefully you're using pencil. Let's see, this is a y is greater than this line. So that means I'm going to shade everything that is above this line, okay? So, and if you're having a hard time deciding what's considered above and what's below and how do you tell, look at the last video from our last lesson over graphing inequalities. Okay, so I'm going to shade everything up here. For now, that's not my final answer. Again, I say do it lightly. I would do it lightly if I had a paper in front of me. Okay, so that is currently my shaded area, but I know I'm going to have another shaded area with my second equation, and where the two shadings overlap each other, that's going to be my answer. All right, so let's graph our second line here. Negative 3, let's graph that point first. And then we have a slope of 1, so that just means we're going up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, and we continue that. So, I shouldn't have blocked out so much here. I'm going to erase my, I can just go like that. That's helpful. Okay, Up one, right one. Just so I can at least get my line. And then maybe I can go get some of that shading in there a little bit. I'll just kind of pretend like it's there. Okay. And then of course we can go down one, left one, down one, left one. And I'm gonna make a bunch more points this way. Now if we decide solid or dotted on this one, this inequality does have the line under it right here. So that means I draw a solid line through them. Oh, I meant to use my tool. Let me redo that one and I'll make it a little smaller. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's take a look at the shading part for the green line. So let's look at our inequality. It's y is less than or equal to. So less than, anything that's less than means I'm going to shade underneath the green line. Okay, so I know, I have part of my shading already shown in my graph. So I know that this part is not in my solution because there's no blue shading there. So I'm not even going to bother with shading that part. I'm going to go ahead and just shade everything that's under the green line that also overlaps with the blue line. And that is actually your final answer. Now, if that's hard for you to look at, then totally use, or go ahead and do the shading. Shade it lightly, well, you can't tell here, but shade it a little bit lightly, and then you can go back and look at it and be like, okay, the blue and the green intersect here, so that's clearly my solution set, okay? So let's go ahead and go in now and erase a little bit. We don't need any of this shaded region now. So I would just erase that. Probably actually be easier if you have a pencil. This is kind of hard to erase. I'm trying to get it exactly. Okay, that's good enough. But you can tell your final answer is going to be this intersected shaded area, which means I can go ahead and eliminate the blue area too. Let's do stroke eraser. Oh wait, no, that doesn't work. Let's do precision eraser. And then I would just eliminate this part. And we'll just do the best we can here because it is a little tedious with all the shaded area. Good, so your answer is literally this region right here. So you don't write anything, you just leave the shaded area there. Okay, let's try another one. All right, let's do this top one first. They're both in slope-intercept form, which is great. So let's dive in here. So let's graph our -3 y-intercept. 1, 2, 3. And then my slope of -2/3. So that means I go down 2 and right 1, 2, 3. And then I can keep repeating that. Down 2, 1, 2, 3. 2, 1, 2, 3. And then I can get more points this way by reversing it. So I'm going to go up 2, left 1, 2, 3. Up 2, 1, 2, 3. So keep reversing that. Okay, and now on this one, if you look at the symbol we have here, it's a less than or equal to. So I'm going to draw a solid line through it because it has the solid line under the symbol. Just like that. Okay, let's do our green line or our second line, whatever color you're using. And start at +8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right here, I have a slope of 3. And that's the same as basically 3/1. So I go up 3/1. Now that would get me off the graph. I mean, I can put a little dot there knowing it's over there, but just reverse it completely. Go down 3 into the left one to get more points on the graph. Down 3, left 1, down 3, left 1. They obviously intersect right there. 1, 2, 3, left 1. 3, left 1. Okay, so we can get a bunch of points on that one, and that one's also going to be a solid line, it looks like. Let's draw it. That was rough. Thank goodness it straightens it up for me. Okay, so this one I did a little bit differently. I haven't done any shading yet, so let's take a look at the shading now. And it's really just personal preference, however you want to do it. So if I look at my top one, what I'm considering my blue line, It is a less than sign. So I know I'm going to be shading everything underneath that blue line. Okay, so for now, because I want to show you kind of a different way you can approach this, I want you to keep in mind, instead of actually doing the shading, keep in mind that everything under the blue line is currently shaded. Okay, try to hold on to that in your head. Now let's look at the green one. That is a greater than symbol. If you take a look at this line, if you think of it as a staircase, a steep staircase, and there's a guy on it, if greater than means above the line, then it's on this side of that line, right? This would be like underneath the staircase. Okay, so greater than the green line would be everything up here, and less than the blue line would be everything down here. So do you see where those overlap over here? That is going to be our answer. You're going to shade this area in. So let's see. Let me just pick a different color. And that will represent our solution. Just like that. So that's another way you can do this, is just save your shading for last. Oh, the colors look so ugly. They're so conflicting. Sorry, y'all. All right, let's try number 7. Okay, top one. Make that a little bit smaller. Let's take a look at this top one first. Now, it's not in slope-intercept form, sadly, so we need to do some work on that. I'm going to rewrite it down here and work through that. So 5x minus 6y is greater than 42. Okay, I'm going to start by subtracting the 5x from both sides. And I've got negative 6y is greater than negative 5x plus 42. And then from there, we divide everything by negative 6. And hopefully something sticks out in your head here. When you divide by a negative with inequalities on both sides of the equal sign, or the inequality sign, sorry, you have to flip your sign. So this becomes y is less than. We flip it. Now this, you could simplify a little bit by negative divided by negative. It just becomes a positive 5 over 6x. And then 42 divided by negative 6, it's going to give us a negative 7. So there's our first inequality. And if you want, go ahead and graph that one, and then we can come back and do the other one. Why not? Let's do it. Okay, so we're going to go down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Make our first point. And then our slope is 5 over 6. So we're going to be going up 5 and to the right 6. So just count carefully here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is where we land. And that's really the only 2 points that we can draw on this one. This will be a dotted line because we do not have a solid line underneath it. So let's do our best to sketch a dotted line here. It's kind of hard when it's just 2 points to make it straight, but that works. All right, let's go back and work on this other equation. I'm going to go ahead and write that one down. 3x plus 2y is less than or equal to 14. And I'm going to save my shading for last on this one like I did on the previous problem. Okay, let's subtract that 3x from both sides. So we get 2y is less than or equal to negative 3x plus 14. And then we divide everything by 2. Now we're dividing both sides by a positive 2, so we don't flip the sign in this one. 3 over 2x plus 7. Okay, let's go ahead and graph our second inequality. So we're going to go up 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Make a point. Negative 3 over 2, so I go down 3 and to the right 2. Down 3, right 2. Down 3, right 2. Down 3, right 2. See if I can get a couple more. 2, 3, right 2. Okay, good. I could get one up here, actually. I can go up 3 and to the left 2, and there. Get another point. Okay, looks like this one will be a solid line because I do have the solid line under the inequality symbol. So let's draw the solid line. All right, now let's look at our shading. Okay, if we look at the blue one, we do have, because it flipped, we have a less than sign. In fact, they're both less than. Okay, so keep that in mind. So for the blue line, less than means, here's my blue line, everything underneath it is currently shaded. So keep in mind, I'm not actually going to do it, but this is what we have shaded as of right now. Okay, that whole thing underneath the blue line. Okay, if we look at the green one, it is also less than. So that means we would want to shade everything, here's my green line, underneath my green line, okay? So you can see probably already where those are going to overlap. And I can do it with this a little bit. I can say, okay, here's all this underneath, and then here's all this underneath the green. They're going to overlap right in this section. So that is what is going to be our actual solution down here. So let's, we'll go with this light blue color again, and we'll just kind of shade this down here. And that shaded area is our answer. All right, last one. Okay. Let's get these into slope-intercept form. So let's look at our top one. I'm gonna write that down. So I'm gonna start by subtracting 7x from both sides. Always gotta move your x term over first. We get 3y is less than or equal to negative 7x minus 24. And then we divide everything by 3. And we're dividing by a positive, so we're not flipping our sign here. So y is less than or equal to negative 7 over 3x. That would give me minus 8. Okay, there's our first one. Go ahead and graph it if you want to do that. Let's see, 10 is down here, so negative 8 would be right here. Now, negative 7 over 3, I definitely can't go down 7 and over 3, so I'm going to reverse it and go up 7, left 3. Okay, make sure you appropriately reverse it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. That puts me right here. I can get another point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, left 1, 2, 3. Well, that's probably all I can get. This is going to be a solid line, obviously. We have that line under our symbol. Draw our solid line through it. Okay, let's get our green one done, and then we'll look at the shading in the end. Okay, let's write this guy down. So we're going to start by subtracting the x from both sides. So we've got 3y is less than or equal to negative x minus 6. And then we divide everything by 3. I've done a ton of these now. No sign flipping here, dividing by a positive. So that would be negative 1/3 x and then minus 2. This is going to be another solid line. Let's go ahead and graph it. I'm going to go down 2, make my point. Negative 1 over 3. So down 1 over 1, 2, 3 for my slope. And I keep repeating that. Down 1 over 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Get one more over there. And then let's finish it out this way. So I'd go up 1, left 1, 2, 3. Boom, I land on that blue line. And keep going. Up 1, left 1, 2, 3. Up 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And this is going to be another solid line. All right, we just have our shading and then we're done. Okay, let's take a look at the blue one first. Okay, so it is a less than sign. So if I look at that blue line, less than would be everything underneath the line. That would be this direction. This would be above the line. Okay, so keep in mind, we are right now looking at all of this shaded area that's underneath the blue line. All right, let's take a look at our green one, another less than. So if you look at the green line, everything under that is gonna be all of this. So can you see the shaded part where they intersect is clearly over here. So it's under both of the lines. So I'm going to do that in this color. So everything that's under the green line here and also under the blue line. And that's it. Okay, I'm definitely going to go back and recolor this one so it matches the others because that's going to bug me. But okay, good job you guys. Hopefully you tried the bonus and that went well for you.